Good evening, Dolphin fans. Welcome to another episode of the Fins Bandwagon, hanging on by a TUA. I'm your host, McMoron's number one fan, FinStanza, and with me always is my pops, Fish Tank Hank. How you doing, pops?
I'm doing great, actually. I'm trying to get into our show right now, and I messed up like always.
Oh, second time's a charm. You want to know what? I will
What?
give you a couple of more chances to get into the show since we seem to be giving our football team a lot of extra chances. So they got more than 9 lives than your cats. I'm telling you, it's amazing. But guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. Fins up. We're here to have some fun tonight. We're just going to be here talking Dolphins. It worked for me. It was a lot of fun on Sunday wearing my Expos hat. I'm sort of changing it up. I find when I wear my Dolphins hats, it's a bad mojo. So since I have a lot of these and a lot of different colors that I've treated myself to, this is one of my, outside of the Dolphins, is one of my favorite logos in sports. It is my favorite logo in sports growing up in Montreal. So I'm going to wear these. It makes me feel good. What do you think?
Good. It looks good.
You
It looks
recognize
kind of
this logo?
sharp on you.
It looks sharp on me?
Yeah.
Okay. So, guys,
I'm a round bill kind of guy.
I do have a round bill, but I like keeping them for longer, and I feel if I round bill them, I'm going to crease them. So,
see, look, flat ones don't look right on me.
I know, I have a big head, so that's why.
I have a small one. That's why.
I have a big head. That's why. So, Hank, how you been keeping? So we haven't spoken to you. So since the Dolphins last played a football game, you haven't had a chance to recover from that total nonsense, a total waste of time. I actually, just to let you know, saw the first half up until Jason Sanders kicked the field goal. Like, okay, finally they're going to win a game. They're going to run the ball. They'll spread the ball around. All to find out that right after that happened, I missed a field goal that they gave away. Then they did nothing the rest of the game. So let me ask you, how were you feeling on Sunday watching that awful, awful football game?
I was at the Hideaway Bar, actually.
Okay.
Were
you hiding away?
No, I was at the Hideaway Bar in Orlando. That's one of the Dolphins fan club bars.
Yeah.
So, and I was there till halftime, and I left at halftime. So I didn't see the misery that happened on my way home. And it took me a while to get home because I was stuck in a little bit of traffic. So
you were lucky.
I didn't get to see the fumbles and those types of things that I heard happened that I didn't see on my way home.
Yeah. So let's just talk about this game because it leads into what's happening now. We'll talk about Tua and all that in a little bit. If you recap the game, we had all talked about it. You talked about it on Fins Talk today. I talked about it. We needed to run the football. We didn't care how they won the game. You thought it was going to be a little more high scoring. I predicted a loss. I thought it would be a worse of a loss. Just I was trying to play reverse psychology with myself a little bit. But second week in a row, running for almost 190 yards. But at one point, you continue to watch it and you go, it seems like every time we run the ball well, the other team doesn't mind that you're running the ball because you're killing the clock. The more you put the ball on the ground, because you don't have a superstar there, more chances you're going to make mistakes. No deep balls. The wide receivers look rusty. Tyreek losing it in the lights. All this nonsense. And it seems that I think you saw it, and I think I saw it eventually, that this team is not a running team. It's a complimentary running team. Yeah.
Appreciate
it's a complimentary
you,
running team. Hammer time. It's a complimentary running team.
What's up, Hammer
time?
Time?
It seems to be that the running game is actually been a hindrance for us because of the fact that we scored 2 touchdowns. With this 400 yards worth of rushing, Tank, we scored a total of 2 touchdowns. So what was your thoughts watching all that running game leading to those 2 fumbles?
Well, I liked the fact that we were running the ball. I didn't like the 2 fumbles is what cost us. That cost us dearly.
And play calling was a problem.
What's that?
The play call was on both of those was a problem.
Oh, you know, like I said, I didn't get to see it, but from what I read, I don't know. It just made me a little bitter.
No, no, because just to get the Ingold one on a first and goal. Why are you forcing a fullback into the crowd? Like, what are you
Yeah,
doing? What is that? What kind of nonsense is that? Raheem Mostert doesn't fumble all that often, but you have five guys in front of you, defenders, fall on the ball, slide, play for another play. It was just something that for me is, and we talked about this in the post game show with Greg and Bobby, is that the running game now wonderful, fantastic, but what have you shown for it? Yes, now you can see you could run the football, but even when you look at even though his stats were not great before he got injured, his stats were actually pretty good when he got injured. Tyler Huntley, but he did what he could. It's just there's no sense of urgency. There's no sense of game management. It just everything felt like it really felt like I don't know about you because we weren't doing the podcast together, but didn't you feel watching the last couple of games, the quarterback or not, that this team was playing a like defense has to do everything and the offense just has to do a little bit. Like it wasn't that but that's not how the team is built.
right? It is now.
But it can't be but like when you see two receptions for 19 yards from your 50 where you're paying these guys $58 million to make two receptions for 19 yards total.
Sometimes.
Is that what kind the greatest show on surf? Really? Like I didn't realize we can run on water. You're supposed to fly on water. Like for me, it's something about Hank that I just want to get your perspective. Like we're 2-4.
Yeah.
And in theory, we should be, if you really look at it, Hank, and this is why I want to then turn it into the positive after, we should be 0-6. Because if it wasn't for the punch out of Javon Holland on that play where it would have brought them up 3 scores versus 2, and the little heel in the back of the end zone, we'd be 0-6. Like we
literally. But then you could say the same thing on a couple games that were real close.
Yeah.
If we would have this or would have that. No, I don't go in the if categories.
I know that. What's up, Chef Jew? No, what I'm trying to say, I really appreciate it, Chef Jew. So what I'm trying to say is this is not the team that we've expected. 70 points after 6 games. Yeah. You were at a game where they scored 70.
Yeah, it was awesome.
That perspective.
It was just awesome. Yeah. But, it is what it is. We didn't win it. And this week's a whole other
story. Yeah. But what I'm trying, but let me ask you. Let me just be asking you. Did you watch the second half at all?
No, I didn't get. That's what I'm telling you.
Okay.
No.
You do realize that it was 13-10.
Yeah.
We had the ball on the 36-yard line, 4th and inches, and we went for a 54-yard field goal with 5 minutes left to give the ball to Tim Boyle, who went back down on the field with no timeouts because they tricked McDaniel to take these stupid timeouts randomly. And then on 4th down, Tim Boyle throws it out of bounds. He didn't even throw it to the end zone, Hank. He threw it out of bounds. So let me ask you something. Let's go here. Let me ask you, let's talk about before we get quarterbacks and Mike McDaniel. Are you proud of how the defense, with all the issues, has done? Have they surpassed your expectations, considering the fact that they've had no offense to shine for? And if we had a mediocre offense the last 4 games, things could be quite different. Like I think they need to add to the defense. You said this last year. I think the defense, I don't think we have to add to the offense, except for quarterback we're going to talk about. Everywhere else, we're fine, I believe, with the talent we have. I just think it's the play calling. But the coaching. But on the defense, I think we still need to improve the D-line, all this. And I think with the crap that they have, except for Sealer, Ramsey, and Campbell, like they've made they basically made lemonade out of like one lemon. They made a full thing. And I think they've done pretty good overall. Like that's the one positive I will take. As bad as we've been as a team, the defense has done what it needed to for us to easily win football games. That's my first positive. Do you agree or disagree?
I totally agree. I mean, you have like a great defense going there because, yeah, there's a couple games where they scored up on us, but for the most part, the defense has been holding, and they've been out there a crap ton. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yep.
They've been out there like forever, and they're still holding teams to 16 points and things like that. So, that's pretty amazing all on its own. And yeah, I got to give kudos to them for sure. And if, like you said, if we even had a medium efficient offense, the defense would have been heads and toes better than what they've been. And that's amazing to say. But
Yeah.
they actually could be better than they already
Yeah.
are.
Like Zach Sealer and Calais Campbell have been like Pro Bowlers. Like I don't know how you expect more from those two players. Like they're in every single solitary play. But then we go back to like, let me ask you, are you do you feel like Chop Robinson right now is just do you think Chop Robinson is a project like who like in theory do you feel like right from what you've seen from him like this like last game you missed it also I watched the highlights he had the quarterback he had the running back in his hand for a 3 yard loss and it turned into an 11-yard game because he can't tackle so
Mm.
how are you feeling about the rookie class like are you just once again just like completely but like crazed by the fact that we can't get these draft picks right?
You know, what's wrong with Jalen Wright?
They don't. What's wrong with Jalen Wright? I'll tell
Yeah.
you what's wrong with Jalen Wright. He's our best running back. He dominated in the Patriots game, and you didn't see him. Excuse me. You didn't see him till the second half. He had 5 carries. They gave the ball to Devon Achan, getting over a concussion, wearing a Guardian cap, stuffing him up the middle. Raheem Mostert all over the place, and they're taking I believe, the best overall running back. You just said it because you're such a smart guy. Is Jalen Wright? Beautiful signature. Explain to me, did that frustrate you at all? That the first half that you watched, you didn't see Jalen Wright? That annoyed the heck out of me. Did it annoy you?
I was surprised, to be
I'm not.
honest with you,
But
that we haven't seen more of him. But, I think they're trying to bring him along slow and see what he can and can't do. And, which is fine because we have two other backs that are great. So
okay,
I can't really complain.
okay,
Would I like to see him out there more? Yeah, but the guys that we have are doing a great job.
okay. Special teams. We'll get to the offense in a minute. Special teams, and then
Oh,
we'll talk
please.
about the. Explain to me we don't. A kicker can't kick anything over. Can't kick anymore over 50. Now there's concerns there. Jake Bailey can't punt. Blake Ferguson's now injured, so now we have this new guy Matt Overton. The coach they look lost every game. What is what in your mind? Tell me, and I'm asking you in a very realistic way. How how does this guy who's made it through the last 3 years, they've gone through
Yeah.
3 defensive coordinators, but they hold on to this guy when we have the worst special teams in the NFL and it isn't even close. Explain to me how this guy still has a job.
Oh, he must have something on Mike McDaniel's.
But does it like no? But yeah, no. But I'm saying like, how is that not a sign of like poor head coaching that you cannot
No.
look for the fact that it's not hard to find a special teams coordinator. It's not that
Yeah, I
hard.
was about to say it's not like you can't find somebody else. So I don't know. I can't answer that. I have no idea.
Do you have concerns about Jason Sanders?
Am I concerned about him?
He's missed 250s in the last 2 weeks. Doink, doink.
Yeah. Well, I'm not concerned yet. I'm not concerned yet. I don't see a need for panic yet.
Okay.
Now, has he missed quite a few important ones? Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. So, yeah,
Okay.
he's got to reel it back in and fix it.
Okay.
But
Yeah. You're gonna be shocked about this. You're gonna be shocked. You know who I don't like? You know who I don't like more? You know who is low? You know who's lower on the shit list for me than yeah, even Danny Crossman? I'll start with 2 guys. We'll do
oh,
the guy who's on the bottom, like he's on the heap. John Embry. is the guy they brought from San Francisco, the tight ends coach and assistant head coach. He should be fired right now, and I'll tell you why. Talk about people getting chances. Julian Hill is our number one guy on tight end. For some reason, he has more penalties than he does receptions. And in any sport, when you make a mistake, you usually get benched. He gets rewarded. Go back out. Go back out. Raheem Mostert in the first half ran for a 33-yard run. Holding, number 89, offense, another 15-yard play. Legal shift, number 89. And they keep on rewarding him. Durham Smythe, the guy who was supposed to be number one last year, has not caught anything. More penalties. Jonnu Smith is trying to catch balls, but penalties, cannot block. How in 3 years, if Mike McDaniel, does this guy not get a look at being fired, John Embry? It is the worst tight end group fundamentally. They have a job. Catch the ball and block and don't take penalties. And most of their penalties, Hank, are not even where the guy is running. They're on the opposite side of the line and they're holding on to people for goddamn dear life.
You know what, though? I could tell by the way that he was blocking and the way he was doing his holds and stuff.
Yeah.
That he was taught that those players were going to be somewhere different than what they wound up being. I could tell that on a couple of plays.
No sense of the play. No sense.
Yeah, it was like he was taught that player's going to be there, and next thing you know, the player's way the hell over there, and he's trying to reach him, and that's when he started holding. And so it's almost like he's not peeling off of his blocks properly either. And that's where the holds are coming in. So I agree with you. I agree with your assessment. Definitely.
Wide receiver, Wes Welker. Is he afraid of Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle? Because these are guys who take third downs off like nobody's business. Why would a defense be afraid when your two-star wide receivers don't feel like playing third down ever? These guys go off the field because they ran 20 yards down the field, didn't get a pass. I'm going to go get bored. I think they look bored. They are laughing. Oh, that really bugs me. Does it bother you? It really gets to me that these two sit on the bench laughing. We're losing a football game. They're laughing. They're having a good old time with Mike McDaniel. It's like, don't you want to win a football game? Like, I'm convinced now that if we said to anybody, we'll trade Tyreek Hill, no one, not one football team, unless you ate his entire signing bonus and half his salary, they wouldn't even give you a 7th rounder for this guy. He looks so uninspired, and this is supposed to be the number one rated player in the NFL. He is caught for what? Not even 100 yards this season? It's an embarrassment, Hank. There's no accountability from Wes Welker for the players on the field.
Well, what's he supposed to do?
Yell at them.
How do you know he's not?
Scream at them to get back on the field.
Wait a minute. Wait. How do you know he's not?
Because they don't show it. I'm watching the sideline. I'm watching Tyreek just go off the field, take off his helmet, and put a knee. I'm just going to sit here and watch. Guys, don't forget to like, subscribe. I appreciate you watching. Now, let's talk about something.
All right, what are we talking about?
Before I get to the TUA and all that, and the quarterback, how annoyed were you, because we haven't spoken, about the fact that we had the bye and nothing was done by Greer or bummed by the head office to change this team in any way, shape, or form? They did nothing for 2 weeks, and they came out the way they played. I don't want to talk about the game, but the lack of urgency, because in the end, Mike McDaniel, who we're going to talk about, is a major problem. But in the end, the one person who has the final say is Chris Greer. So if Trevin Ross is trying to keep him around, why would he? Doesn't he realize, unless he thinks his job is carte blanche and he doesn't want to win, he doesn't care, he just wants to go play golf. Like, how do you do nothing? Bring in, Ogba's injured. Jalen Phillips is injured. That what are you doing? Like, how much does it anger you or annoy you that you have a front office guy who does nothing but nothing? We want to get these players, but okay, Rashee Rice gets injured. I'm going to go get I'm going to try and get Cooper Kupp. No, it doesn't work out. I'm going to go get DeAndre Hopkins for the Chiefs, who are 6-0, trying to make their team better. Oh, the Jets stink. Oh, we'll do whatever we have to. We're going all in on Aaron Rodgers. We'll go get Devontae Adams. Like, why are the Dolphins doing nothing to improve their team if they're struggling in all facets of the game?
Because they've already spent all their money and don't have any to dip in.
There's always ways.
And they don't want to give up picks for next year in case they get rid of Tua.
But Chris Greer,
you got to give up something to get something.
They don't know how to draft anyways.
You're asking. You got to give up something to get something. Now, is it worth giving up a first rounder to get one of these players you want? No. It'll hurt the team later on, especially if you're not keeping Tua. Yeah. Tua's a big question mark right now. We'll get there. Hey, look, until you give me an outline, we're going to talk about whatever comes up.
I don't give outlines because it's
more fun then you know what? You have a list of what you want to talk about. Send it to me, and then I'll go by the list.
You go how you want. I'll follow your lead, Pops.
Okay, good. So, like I was saying, Tua, we don't know what we're doing with him yet. There's a couple other players that are questionable too, And if you go giving up all these draft picks, you're going to have zero capital to do anything. And I'm telling you, the cost of giving up those players to try to fix this team now is the wrong direction to go. I think we're getting a couple players back on defense, if my memory serves correct.
Maybe.
Yeah, but you know what I'm talking about. You're going to get a couple players possibly back soon. You're getting Tua back. I mean, is OBJ ready? I have no idea if OBJ's ready. Is OBJ ready? That's what I want to ask you. Do you think he's ready?
I think he's ready. I just think that Mike McDaniel's too big of a moron to find a way to utilize him. Because I'll put it to you this way. If they can't find a way in the last 4 weeks to find Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, how are they going to find OBJ? So let me just be clear. Let's talk about McDaniel and Greer for a second, and then we'll get to Tua, which our title is Hanging On by a Tua. Okay? And we'll talk about how salty he was this week. Mike McDaniel, Chris Greer.
Yes.
If you look back on everything we talked about, letting Wilkins go, letting Van Ginkel go, signing all these guys to minimum salaries on the D-line, offensive line, except D-line, whatever, the D-backs, whatever it is. Nothing is more deplorable and embarrassing than what they did with the backup quarterback. Knowing that Tua has an injury history, how do you cut Mike White? At least Mike White's a veteran. Skylar Thompson, even if you would have, how do you cut him? Skylar Thompson had not proven anything yet. He has been unsuccessful in anything he's ever tried to do, and we've seen it so far. And all this time, you have bringing C.J. Beathard yesterday. Tyler Huntley's now injured. Tim Boyle throws out of bounds on fourth down. How do you, when Tua has talked this week, and this is a very hard offense. Everyone talks about how this is a hard offense to learn. How do you take away the guy who was most experienced behind Tua and let him move on? You expect people who have been here for a week or two to understand this offense.
So that's not going to happen.
So for me, I get hard on McDaniel because I feel like he hasn't adjusted. I believe he is actually the worst game day head coach in the NFL. Doesn't know when to use his timeouts. Doesn't know how to adjust. Doesn't adapt to the game. Can't find his wide receivers to save his life. And I'll tell you why in a minute when we get to Tua. But how much does it bother you that this is where you are, a team that you love, knowing the injury history of Tua, literally did not have an insurance plan for a quarterback. Right now, you go on a trip somewhere, or you're buying a house, you buy a car, you buy anything. Even when you have a kid, you have to buy life insurance. You have to buy car insurance. How do you not insure yourself knowing that you know this better than anybody? As bad as teams can be, a quarterback can mask the deficiencies of a team as best as possible if he's a good to average quarterback. What the heck were they thinking with the backup quarterback position? What were they thinking?
They
Were they
weren't.
thinking? Were they thinking?
They weren't. That's the whole thing. They
Like,
weren't.
doesn't that bother you? Like,
thinking.
is that for you? I believe it's the most fireable offense for both of them. Do you believe it's the most fireable offense that you can't, knowing you have an injury-prone quarterback, that you don't have a quarterback who knew the system? If you said how hard the system was to learn,
I think at the end of this year, if things go the way they currently have been, Mr. Ross is going to clean house. So I wouldn't worry about that too much.
Okay.
I
Do you
wouldn't
like
worry
Mike
about
McDaniel?
that too much. I mean, we haven't flopped like this in a long time. And you got to remember, we've lost 4 games. And if we lose 3 to 4 more, we might have our goose cooked.
Yeah. But let me
So
ask
that's
you.
our season right now. We're sitting there going, boy. And if you look at our season, we have 3 or 4 teams that are going to be very difficult to get past.
Are you over
So,
Mike? Are you? I know he's
hold
not getting
on a
fired.
minute. So Miami's going to either have to be heroes or zeros coming up. They have to win these winnable games. There's no more of this, oh, it was close, but they lost. No, they now are in a must win, pretty much close to win out for the season at this point in time.
For sure.
And, unfortunately, this team didn't gel, and we didn't get what we thought we were going to get. And yeah, Tua got hurt again. Yeah, we could say that. We could boil over that, but I'm not going to boil over that.
Oh, I don't care about him getting hurt because I think
Yeah,
it
it
shows.
can't
I'm
help
happy.
that.
I'm actually, as awful as it sounds, don't take it the wrong way. I'm happy he got hurt. Not that he got hurt. I'm happy that him getting hurt exposed Mike
Yes.
McDaniel for the quack that he is. And I'll sit there. And let me explain to you. Mike McDaniel has proven, you know what he's done? He's actually raised the stock of Tua Tagovailoa. I believe he's the problem. Because when you look back, Flores, as bad as him and Tua got along, Tua still somehow found a way to win football games and had a winning record, and went from 1-7 to 9-8, and they won. He had a winning record behind him. Yes, did Mike McDaniel come in and give the guy confidence at a time where he was down? Yes, but even with Tua struggling over the last couple of games, even before, Mike McDaniel needs Tua. Tyreek Hill needs Tua. Jalen Waddle needs Tua more than anybody else because and this is proof. It doesn't matter if you're. This is why a wide receiver doesn't win MVP. This is why a running back doesn't win MVP because a quarterback is the engine. As bad as if Brock Purdy has a crappy game like he did on Sunday, the 49ers lose. Patrick Mahomes had not a great game, but he found a way to win because he's Patrick Mahomes. Josh Allen loses everybody, still a great quarterback. Justin Herbert, I struggled mid-quarterback. Lamar Jackson, great athlete, but has Derrick Henry, who's an utter stud, who we all wanted, winning football games.
Hey, you know what? There's a running back that I would give MVP to. There's one.
Derrick Henry.
That I've known. And that would be Marshall Faulk.
Yes.
Because Marshall Faulk was basically like a coach back there helping Kurt Warner.
For sure.
And I think that they both deserve co-MVPs during those years because Marshall Faulk was a key.
For sure. He should have won it that year. Yes.
Huge key.
Barry Sanders should have won it.
That's one player I can think of.
Oh, I believe Emmitt Smith for Troy Aikman at the beginning. I could say that. Derrick Henry did a lot for Ryan Tannehill, like that. He upgraded that team when they had great seasons. But my point is that the topic, like I said, is hanging on by a Tua. You see Tua coming in the press conference.
Yeah.
Not going to wear a Guardian cap. He knows he's willing to play till the death of him. He's salty. He's angry. He's annoyed. Do you believe that Tua, before we talk about him and the rest of the team and all that, do you believe he's learned? You believe he's finally learned his lesson? Finally,
What, to stop playing for the Dolphins?
no, to stop playing like hero football. Stop playing like it's college. Stop
Yeah,
playing
that
like
was
it's high school.
the whole way that he ran into him was totally stupid and unnecessary.
Yeah.
It was totally
Do you
unnecessary,
think
and
he's
all
learned
he
it?
did was take himself out for 5 weeks. It was stupid.
You know what's crazy though? Do you think because it's Tua, because do you think this would have been a story had the first concussion not happened in prime time? Like, I don't count the Buffalo game.
No,
Let
no,
me ask you.
I think the whole thing is that Tua has been hurt the entire time he's been in the NFL. He's had an injury of some sort.
No, but so is
And
Teron
I think,
Armstead, and no one talks about it public. My point is, Teron Armstead's had a
but I'm
concussion.
saying, I'm trying to answer you.
I
You're not
apologize.
letting me.
I apologize.
And the freaking, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Okay. So, anyway, like I was saying, Junior, I lost my train of thought now. It's over.
Your train of thought is that he was constantly getting injured. So him
Yes.
standing out, I remember what you said. Because he was constantly getting injured, that's what exacerbated the fact that he had concussion. So that made it even
Yes,
worse.
but I have seen recently, like Josh Allen go down, and he was in prime time, but he came right back out and kept on playing. Come on, he was knocked out. He was out cold. You
No,
know.
but I believe that Tua is the poster child. So Kendall Fuller getting a concussion, Devon Achane getting a concussion, Teron Armstead getting a concussion. Tua is more magnified than any other person because he played at Alabama, the bad injury there, then everything happening on prime time, then the last time on prime time. Everything seems to be magnified by him. And I think, do you think that he's finally going to start realizing that if I'll put it to you this way. Tua's not an athlete. Lamar Jackson's an athlete. Everyone talks about Cam Ward. Cam Ward's stuff does not translate to the NFL. Tua is a statue. Dan Marino, statue. Joe Montana, statue. Peyton Manning, statue. They don't move. They throw the ball or they throw it away. Stop thinking that you're something that you're not. You want to have a 15-year potential Hall of Fame career? Do what you're good at. Stop trying to be Lamar Jackson. Stop trying to be Josh Allen. Stop trying to be a quarterback that you're not. Because if you continue to do that, you're going to continue to get injured. And then, obviously, if this happens one more time, you're going to be done because the Dolphins aren't going to trust you anymore. How many more times can we trust that you're going to learn from your lessons? But because what I've learned, I believe, I'm convinced of this now. If Mike McDaniel, it's like basically Mike McDaniel has made this offense so difficult to learn and so confusing that Tua is so brilliant that he's figured it out and can do it in his sleep. And if he's not there, he has the passcode to the offense. You know what's crazy? Mike McDaniel basically created, and then Hank, think about this. Mike McDaniel created this wonderful new invention, right? But he forgot the passcode for it. He locked himself out. And for the last 4 weeks, he needs Tua to unlock it for him. That's how dumb this guy is. He's so smart, he's dumb, that he's one of those nerds who did something so smart, but then forgot the passcode. And now he needs Tua to solve it for him, which for me makes Tua even a more valuable asset in the NFL. And his worth now has actually skyrocketed, and the value of his contract is more worth it because this guy is basically the Patriots saying he's like Jesus. He's like Mother Teresa. He's basically coming to save all of our seasons. That's how they're treating this. It's a come of Jesus moment. Tyreek Hill is hyped like the greatest thing. He was crying that Tua's coming back, Frank. Like they want to probably if he wins this football game in dominating fashion, they're probably going to build a statue outside Hard Rock for him. Like how does that make? How ridiculous does that sound, though? How ridiculous do I sound? 53-man roster, and they're begging a injury-prone, concussed quarterback who was struggling before the to come back and save us. Like how does that make how? Let me ask you. You're going to the game. Or do you think that one guy is literally gonna basically? I don't. Did you ever used to watch Family Matters when you were younger? Do you remember the show Family Matters?
No.
Oh, you don't know a show about Family Matters? There was
I
this
was
guy.
poor. I didn't have cable.
Oh, I'm sorry. This guy, he was in the 90s. His name was Steve Urkel. He was a nerd, big glasses. Then when he went into a time machine, he came out like this really cool guy. That's what Mike McDaniel with Tua. He's this guy who's lost, a nerd, no friends, idiot, moron. And now, is he all of a sudden going to become this amazing McGenius again because his brother is back? Like, do you actually believe that's actually possible?
Well, the reason the Dolphins have been losing is why?
No,
because they haven't been scoring.
No.
Is he part of a solution to that? Most of the time he is. He wasn't right before he got injured. However, if you sit there and look at it, he's your best option. Yes.
Okay, so they won, 20-17, I believe game one. What did they win? They forget the score, but let's just go back. I want to read some scores. Where are the scores? Okay, here we go. Let's go back to the Jets game. After the Commanders game, we blew the game in Tennessee. We put up 27. Then we won. Is this the wrong? I think this is the wrong one. Oh yeah. Then we scored. We won 30-0 against the Jets, but the Jets had nobody. We beat the Cowboys 22-20. Then we 22. Then we lost 56-19. Then we lost 21-14. Then we scored 7 points in the playoff game. We scored 18 points. We've been struggling for the last 5 or 6 games that he's been there. So what do people are you thinking that this time off, the extra week, practicing? Because he says he's been concussed.
What are you going back to last year?
No, what I'm trying to say is the offense has struggled against good teams, decent teams, average teams for the last 6 or 7 games, even with Tua there. So is the positive that Tua being not concussed free for the last 4 weeks, practicing that? Are you convinced that you're going to see a revamped offense on Sunday, or
no?
Do you feel like we're going to? Is it in your mind? Will you be pissed if we score 7? If we win the game 17-10 with Tua back? I
think Tua is going to be running for his life like he always is.
Even under 2 seconds, he's already running for his life.
You know what? As soon as that ball gets back there, somehow our offensive line always seems to let somebody else get back there at him. And it's been happening for years, and it's been happening to many quarterbacks. Huntley's hurt. This one's hurt. That one's hurt. Yeah, guess why? Because nobody can block anybody. That's why. And that's why Tua's hurt as much as he is, too, because they suck at blocking. Now, did he take one on the head this last time himself? Yes, he did. But if you look at most of the other injuries, it's from people that couldn't block. So I don't know. I'm kind of mixed on that one.
Okay, but what is your level of excitement knowing that you're going to the game on Sunday? Like, if you had to scale it from 1 to 10, if I told you, let's have some fun. If I had to tell you, scale of 1 to 10, if Tim Boyle was your quarterback and you were going to the game on Sunday, scale of 1 to 10, your level of excitement would be a
1.
Skylar Thompson,
1.
Tyler Huntley.
Tyler Huntley. I like Tyler Huntley, 7.
CJ Beathard.
Oh, come on.
Mike White, if Mike White was still here.
3.
Better than the other 2. How do you feel about Tua?
Give him about an 8 or 9.
What's your hesitancy to give him a 10?
My hesitancy is the offensive line and him being injured again.
Well, what about his talent?
If we go strictly off his talent, I think he has the ability to pick this team up and carry them, definitely. Because without Tua, there's been no Waddle. There's been no Tyreek Hill. There's been no OBJ. We've had John Smith a little bit, but we're missing people. The gang just doesn't, the engine isn't running right without Tua in there. It's like it's missing its spark plug or whatever it needs nowadays. Electric coils, whatever. He's missing it.
What's the best case scenario for you? With Tua in the lineup, with the current structure of our team now,
Yeah.
are you convinced in your mind that we could actually go? Now we have how many games left? So we're 2-4, so we have 11 games left. That we can go 8-3.
No, I'm not completely convinced. That's why I told you there's 3 or 4 hard games that we have to face. Now, if Miami continues to go the way they were going, it's not going to happen. And right now, all I can go by is the last 6 games. And the last
Okay,
6 games say we suck.
But which games concern you? Let's go over them. So
All
your
right,
4
hold
games
on.
that
Let me
concern
see.
you. Okay,
Hold on.
Arizona doesn't concern you.
Hold on. I have a chart where I already did this. So I want to look at my chart. So I'm not going against my own chart.
I never said you couldn't.
Okay. Arizona, I have them as a win.
Buffalo.
I have it as a loss.
Rams.
I have it as a loss. It's prime time and it's across the country.
So
We
2
suck in
losses, so
prime
they're already
time.
at 6. They're already at 6 losses. Vegas.
Win.
Patriots.
Win.
Green Bay.
Loss.
So that's already 7 losses. Jets.
Win.
Texans.
Tie.
49ers.
Win.
Cleveland.
Win.
Jets.
Win.
So they're going to lose. So they're going to be 9-7-1.
Maybe.
Okay. Is that a playoff team to you in this?
It depends on what they're doing at the end of the year. Okay. If they win out those last 3 games, that means they're going to be cooking. That means they're going to be ready for it. But hey, hold on.
No, I wasn't. I was on
8-3. If they're 8-3, I mean, come on. Aren't you going to be hoping for the best at that point in time? Don't you think if they make it to the playoffs right now, because they can with the way this whole thing is set up nowadays, but realistically, they should not make the playoffs because I don't see them getting past without dropping 3. I see them dropping 3 at least of the next 11.
What if Bradley Chubb comes back and they go get more support at the deadline? Does that give you more faith? Or are you relying on the fact that they're not making any improvements to the roster?
You need backup pieces mostly for Miami. The offensive line hasn't completely sucked like it usually does, but anytime somebody's out, we just fall apart. We totally fall apart. It's like we don't have the backups that are good enough to withstand a few games during the absence of one of our starters. It's the worst thing I've ever seen. And that all comes from Greer. That all comes from him. His job is to create those backups and have viable backups. And he didn't do anything, like you said, over the bye to improve our position. And our position has been stinking. I think the main part they were looking at was the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
They were worried about getting the quarterback in there, so they didn't worry about everything else.
Yeah.
But it's a tough road when you're not winning.
I'm going to tell you one thing. You haven't heard this from me yet. I believe that Tua, it's better that they struggled. It's better they struggled the last few weeks than they won a few games. You want to know why? Tua knows that he is the linchpin in all this right now, and how bad he was on that sideline. He's going to himself. He stayed calm. How bad the play was. He goes,
"Yeah,
I could be a hero. I can cement my legacy as a Dolphins in Dolphins lore if I could take this, what we've seen, the worst offense in the NFL, averaging just under 12 points a game, and if I could be average, if I could be mid, and have the defense going, every single one of the games that they have lost, if Tua's in the lineup, they probably win.
Yeah.
Because I believe even with Tua, if they were going to lose that Buffalo game, but I believe in the second half, had he been able to overcome, had he not, think about this, had he slid, Hank, he would have had the first down. He would have scored a touchdown. It would have been a 2-score game, and the game still would have been possible. Him putting his head down is what ended up costing us. But I believe, and I'm very much convinced of this, that Tua is going to make this. He's going to save Mike McDaniel and a lot of people's jobs. He is basically going to. You know what it is? It's basically right now. You're being the fact. Thank you for your service, Hank. If you guys didn't have someone steering the ship, it didn't matter how many people you had bailing water, doing whatever you had to do. If you don't have someone who's able to drive, it's like someone getting into a car. Have you ever driven a car, manual versus automatic?
Oh yeah.
Most people,
I'm
I
old.
guarantee you, most people, they get into a manual car. They have no idea what the F they're doing, and you know it. People want the automatic. They don't make that's what it is. It's like somebody got into the car and they didn't know how to drive. And or the wheel, the steering wheel was on the opposite. It's like getting to London and I'm driving on the opposite side, and it's confusion. Tua is going to calm everything. Even at 2-4, the Miami Dolphins have hope. And I am going to rely on the Tua hope because I believe that this guy has a major chip on his shoulder. I love the salty Tua. Let him go out there and prove people wrong. You don't think that people, you don't think he's hearing it? Of course he's hearing everything that people are saying about him. Retire, you're a bum, you're injury prone, do this for your family. He doesn't care. He's a warrior. He wants to prove that he can get out there. There's a reason why people jump out of planes and ride motorcycles and do all these things is because they have that, they're fearless. And if Tua wants to be fearless, to allow us to be proud of our football team, even knowing the deficiencies of this football team, good on him. I cannot tell him what to do. I'm not going to tell him what to do. In the end, did I think that it was better off for him to move on for his health? Sure. But am I going to complain about the fact that the dreck that I've seen for the last 4 weeks without Tua, that I'm not excited to see Tua on the football field again? Because it will prove one of two things. Either he's an elite quarterback, or everyone will be fired, and we'll get a new quarterback and a new head coach and a new general manager. So either we'll be good or everything will fall apart. I'm okay with both. I would prefer honestly, I sort of prefer the latter because I can't stand looking at McDaniel forgetting what down it is. But I will put up with Mike McDaniel for the sake of Tua taking us to the playoffs. How about you, Hank?
Yeah, I agree.
See, hopium. I'm going to tell you this right now. I feel bad. I feel bad for the kid. I honestly, genuinely feel bad, Hank, and I'm sure you do too. The guy has not gotten a fair shake since he got.
Let me tell you something. I've seen many coaches make many bonehead decisions, but the problem that I mainly have with Mike McDaniel is the fact that he hasn't been doing a good job play calling. That's my biggest irst with the guy. Other than that, I don't care what he does, All right, so he screwed up timeouts, so he screwed up, something screwed up when what down it was. Yeah, okay. Yeah, total bonehead that shouldn't be happening if you're the head coach. But that's what I keep talking about every time, each week. I keep saying he shouldn't be play calling at the same time. If he'd give up one or the other, he'd be much better off. Game plan with your coaches. That's what they're there for. Let them do the job. Do your job. His best asset is hyping the players up and getting the most out of the players. We'll work that instead of working and saying, oh, I have to be the offensive coordinator. No, you don't. Give up the reins. Let somebody else take over, Rover.
Yeah. Do you know what 67% stands for?
A lot of things.
67% of our penalties are before we snap the ball.
Oh, yeah.
Tua,
Pre-snap penalties. Yep.
the penalties are insane. We're winning, but we have more penalties. That's why I'm also getting Tua back, because with all the motions and everything, there's not going to, because also most of those penalties have happened when Tua has been gone. So I'm convinced the penalties are going to go to the wayside with Tua there, because I want to see Tua screaming. I can't wait for the moment, because I think now he has the saltiness to do it.
Yeah.
If Tyreek Hill doesn't run that route, if Jalen Waddle drops the ball, I could see Tua losing his shit. I could see that he's saying, this is my last chance to prove myself here. This is ridiculous. Like, this is the kind of crap. I come back to this Drek. I believe that Tua is going to find a way. I believe that Tua is going to, I'm going to make a prediction now. The next game we will lose with Tua in the lineup
will be in 2 weeks
McDaniel,
against Buffalo.
No, the next game we will lose is either on. We're going to go on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 game winning streak before we potentially see a loss again.
No way.
We will be 7-4. We are going to beat Arizona. We are going to beat Buffalo. We're going to beat the Raiders. We're going to beat the Patriots. You heard it here first. Josh Allen I'm telling you, he's not going to have a good game, because Tua knows that is there's two things Tua's coming back for: to prove that he's healthy and learn his lesson once and for all, and to finally prove he's an elite quarterback. If Josh Allen can win with nothing, why can't Tua finally win with goddamn something?
I guess the same reason the other 3 or 4 quarterbacks couldn't win with us.
But Tua's better
than
Tua's better
I'm just saying, the guy has got to have something if he's doing this, and nobody else can.
He has to have that special sauce.
There's something to it, dude. It all revolves around Tua.
Go have a conversation.
The whole night you've been talking, it all revolves around Tua, and it does. And he's got more pressure on him now than he's ever had under the lights with anybody under any other pressure. Everybody's relying on this young man to save their butts.
Good. Because you know what the difference was, Hank? Let me ask you something. Before Tua got hurt and this 4-game losing streak happened,
yeah,
who did people think was the best player on the team? Cheetah, right?
Yeah,
Cheetah's the best player on the team.
Yeah, he was the number one player of the year, voted by the players.
Yeah, but you know who the best player on the team is? No matter what team you're on?
Quarterback.
It doesn't matter what Justin Jefferson does. Sam Darnold's more important. It doesn't matter what Travis Kelce does, Patrick Mahomes. It doesn't matter what Brandon Ayuk or Christian McCaffrey does. It's Brock Purdy. It doesn't matter what Cooper Kupp does. It's Matthew Stafford. Tua has not been the focal point of the offense and the number one guy ever. Because when Flores was here, it was always being put down. Since he's been here with McDaniel, it's been all about Tyreek and Waddle. Oh, Tua's good because of Tyreek and Waddle. Tua's begun because of Tyreek and Waddle. This is
Look
now
how good Tyreek and Waddle are without Tua.
Tua now knows, but also, and I believe Tua does better when the pressure's on. Think about it.
He does.
When the whole national championship thing, people are looking at the national championship and he won the wrong way. Oh, he came in cold, and he took his team. Doesn't matter who the players were. He came in cold off the bench to win a national championship. That's pressure. Tua Tagovailoa has not faced this kind of pressure since then, because everything else has sort of been handed to him or he's been surrounded by. Now he has a head coach who can't play call. He has 2 wide receivers who can't find themselves. and he's the only guy who has the key to start the car. So I believe Tua is going to literally put everything on his shoulders and play smart football, give him to his playmakers, be intelligent, find his inner Patrick Mahomes, find his inner Josh Allen the way he plays football, and go watch tape of Joe Montana, go watch tape of Drew Brees, and do what they did to win football games. And I'm convinced, in spite of Mike McDaniel, that when we go into Thanksgiving, that we will be 7-4. And you heard it here first on the most positive show in Dolphins land, the Fins Bandwagon. What do you think of that?
I think you're crazy.
Wait,
Because
you're telling me I'm more positive than you?
We're winning
Are
those
you
first 3 games. There's no way.
You want to make a little side wager?
Sure. Let's make it a front wager. This way everybody can see.
What would you like it to be?
I would. Hey, my pockets go deep. You tell me, Junior. $5? Is that enough?
50.
$50. All right, $50. You're
50
on.
Canadian for you, 50 American for me.
No.
Yeah, that's good for you. You get good money for that.
No.
You know I'm trying to screw you there, right? But we'll do 50.
I
We'll
know.
do an even 50. See, even this person agrees. Even you know who that is? Do you recognize the last name? Be careful what you say. That's my mom over there.
Hey, I know your mom very well.
I know. She knows too. Thank you. See, wise guy agrees. No, but honestly, Hank, if they're 7-4, if they're
I just don't
6-4,
see them. Look, this is what I don't see happening, okay? I don't see them getting past the Bills.
I do.
And then traveling to LA for a Monday night football game, which is where they always get beat up.
She agrees with you.
Of course. Your mother and I have been together a long time, Junior.
Does Kelly know that?
Yes.
Kelly's no, but let me ask you, to be honest,
no, to be honest, them going over there for that Monday night football game, that's going to be their toughest game. I don't even think it's the Bills is the harder game. They might pull that one off. They have just been melting under the big bright lights.
But if they win against Buffalo, if they beat Buffalo, are you telling me you're not gonna be beyond ecstatic? You're not gonna be over the moon?
It doesn't. Of course, I'd be happy, but I'm being realistic. And being realistic, those are 2 games back to back that are going to be very difficult for Miami.
I believe they can do it because I believe Tua. I believe in Uno.
All right. Well, like I said, I believe they can win one of them, but I don't think they can win both.
You want to know why I believe in Uno? Because I believe Uno is going to make me continue suffering watching that capri-wearing, arrogant, awful play caller. You know, there's always that
positive note. Let's end on a positive note.
I'm going to get back to it. Do you ever have that person in your life that you can't get rid of them? They bother you. They're like that piece of corn stuck in your mouth. Don't say me. Don't say me. I know you're thinking me. But that's Mike McDaniel to me. And I think he needs to keep me fired up. I believe I honestly believe, Hank, that everyone is going to try harder for Tua. I believe everyone's going to do this for Tua. And if you look at what Jared Goff's been doing, Jared Goff struggled at the beginning of the year. They found a way to turn it around. Look how well the Lions are doing. I believe that Tua is going to light a fire in everyone's butt saying, now we got our guy back. We can win with this guy. We're going to do everything we can to prove everybody wrong that Tua shouldn't have retired. Tua's the guy. Let's do this for Tua.
Well, and you know what else I think? I think Tua is going to be the difference maker in a lot of different things now. But I have to see what he does against Arizona first. And once I see that, that's when I'll make my determination whether or not he will or won't. But for right now, the way things have been going, I don't see us getting past those 2 teams without a loss.
Who would have thought that overreaction wagon would be more positive than the guy who thinks we're going 13-4 every year. Have you been drinking the Bobby Melendez Kool-Aid? Like, too realistic for me. Can you
No,
at least
no,
give me some
no.
hope?
I'm just I looked at the games and Green Bay on Thanksgiving. Come on, man. It could be frozen there on Thanksgiving.
But we've ran the football. We've learned to run the football.
All right, but hold on. And you don't think going from the Bills to across the country and doing a Monday night football game?
We're going to go right to LA. I know him. I know McDaniel. They're going to take off Tuesday morning. They're going to spend the entire week in LA, and they're going to be fine.
Well, we'll see.
I believe. Hey,
I have my doubts.
I'll give you a perspective. You want to give you a perspective?
All
the
right.
Seattle Seahawks. The Seattle Seahawks lost to the Giants. Got their butts whipped by the stinking, smelly G-men. They got on a plane, went cross country to Kirk Cousins, who in the previous game threw for 5 touchdowns and 500 yards. They went into Mercedes-Benz Stadium and dropped 34 on them. Anything can happen. You can go cross country, have a tough game, get your butts whipped, and go cross country and kick your butt. The difference is that we have Uno. And I believe, let me ask you this question now. Even with TUA, here's a great question on a positive note for you, Hank.
All right.
If you had to rank quarterbacks in the NFL right now, even with TUA struggling the first 2 games, don't you think is he still a top 10 quarterback to you in the NFL? To his team. Is he the most important quarterback to his team?
He's still the same person. He didn't change. Yes, he's still that same person.
In your mind, if doing it off the top of your head, name me quarterbacks that without them, I believe he's actually a top 5 in terms of without him, the team can do literally nothing. That's been proven. Buffalo won't do anything without them. I think Lamar, I'm convinced that Baltimore with Derrick Henry and John Harbaugh and their experience could survive a couple games without Lamar.
I think even so.
A game or 2, they can miss 2 games. They have Derrick Henry. If they have an average quarterback, they can survive with that defense. They did it with Tyler Huntley. They've proven it before. The Kansas City Chiefs, I think they could survive a game. If they're facing the Carolina Panthers, they're going to win. If we had to face the Carolina Panthers without Tua, we'd still lose. I'm convinced that Tua Tagovailoa is as important of a quarterback to his football team than any other quarterback in the NFL.
I'm not disagreeing.
No. So for me, I am telling you this. I love this for our team because I think it's going to prove that if they don't have Tua, they're starting to learn that the parts around them are still not good enough and that they have to upgrade them, because if they don't upgrade them, you're relying on one player. I believe if Tua didn't get injured and they would have kept on going and they'd be 3-3 or 3-2, the warts of this team would be masked. Now the warts are very much apparent. And if Tua proves that he's struggling, then there's a whole overall foundational thing. We're going to know it on Sunday. If Tua comes in and plays phenomenally well, that just proves how pathetic the team is with the people around him, that they needed one guy to survive and win any football game, because the Arizona Cardinals are not a very good football team. So if you can't beat them, forget it. But if you beat them and you decisively, I expect them to drop 35 on Arizona. If they don't drop 35 on Arizona, because Tyreek Hill should be going deep, I want the third throw to be a 40-yard danger to Tyreek Hill. I want them coming out banging. I don't care about running the ball. They're going to run. I want them throwing the ball. I want Tua to throw the ball 45 times. I want him to show that he is the best that he could throw with anybody. It doesn't have to be far, but just throw the football. Do you know, Hank, that since this season, remember last season we all freaked out how they were never running the ball on short yardage? Now all they do is run. That's not their identity. We didn't like the way it was called, but they should still be throwing the ball.
Okay.
Don't you want to see that? Don't you want to see the greatest show on surf?
I definitely would love to see us scoring 35 points. I'm not. Hey, why wouldn't I love that?
No, but you're Mr. Positive. You never predict a loss. I know. I
No,
don't want to predict.
I don't. I try not to be too overly aggressive one way or the other in my opinions. And when I look at it, I try to also see realistically, to some degree. Well, where's my team at? I'm a homer, but I'm not a total homer. I'm a homer because I root for my team no matter what.
35.
However, too far, 35.
No, 35. 35.
Yeah. Hey, I would love to see it. And, whichever direction we go, I'm going to be happy with. I'm not going to sit here and worry about it. And we're on for that $50.
We're on for that $50.
And it's American only.
I know. I have it ready for you.
Try to, yeah, see, you notice you have it ready for me already. See that? See,
but you have to remember, this is the Finns bandwagon. If I'm not positive.
Hey, I'm positive I'm going to get $50. And if not, it'll be worth giving you the $50.
Exactly. See?
So either way, I'm worth your while,
Junior. See, worst thing that happens, here, I'll give you my perspective. If it doesn't happen, I can spend my time continuing to bash the worst head coach in the NFL. If I win, the Dolphins are a success. I can't lose.
Neither can I.
See, this is what's fun about this, Hank. This is why I love doing this with you. This is why. But honestly, they have. I know we're going to go in a minute, but I'm telling you, I believe there's going to be pins and needles, but I guarantee you're going to see a bigger crowd this weekend than you've seen in a while in Hard Rock. And there's going to be a level of when Tua comes out, it's almost like the fans just won the lottery.
I bet they're going to call him out last too.
Yeah, they're going to definitely call him. Don't you feel like you see one of my favorite movies is Shawshank Redemption ever? Don't we all feel like we've been in solitary confinement? Like I feel like I've been locked in a. It's like we've been suffering. Hank, I'd rather watch paint dry than watch the offense. Right? Like this is like the greatest. Like this is really like I can't even if it struggles at the beginning. Give it time. The reason I say this is look at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mike Tomlin. Everyone was ripping him for Justin Fields, bringing in Russell Wilson. Oh, after 3 drives, they put up 37. Also, you know what gives me joy, Hank? Why I'm still on a cloud 9? Even as bad as we have been. Devontae Adams firing Robert Saleh. The Jets are worse than us.
I don't know how.
like, how is that possible? How is that? It's the greatest thing ever. Like, we're so bad, but the Jets are worse. They're worse. They have their
crash
team.
and burning, man.
Isn't that great? Like, doesn't that give, even when they were losing, doesn't it give you joy when on Sunday Night Football, I sat there with the biggest grin on my face ever. I go like, this is the best. It's for you. If the Dolphins lose, if the Jets are worse, doesn't that give you a little bit of solace? So let's take that, right? Honestly, remember how we were nervous? Oh, Aaron Rodgers, the Jets. Like, I'm not worried about facing the Jets. Are you? I'm not worried.
They got some good receivers, I got to admit. But we have a better secondary.
Garrett Wilson wants out.
Really?
Well, he's not happy. He's no longer the number one guy. They brought Devontae Adams in.
Too bad. He'll learn to be a rookie.
But anyways, guys, we appreciate you watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can check out Fish Tank Hank on FinStalk today at noon with El Jefe, Bobby Melendez, Bobby FinStalk. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff going on with the Hurricanes on our network over the next couple of days. Then on Sunday, you'll catch me at one point or maybe not, depending on what time it happens, because I'll be in and out. I have some personal hockey stuff I have to do. I'm coaching my kid. So unless we do it a bit earlier, I might not be on the pregame show or I'll be joining from my phone, but also be here on the postgame show where we will be seeing the Miami Dolphins pick up a victory where they will score at minimum 35 points. You heard it here first. No one else on any network is saying that Tua is going to come back and put up 35 points on the Arizona Cardinals.
Okay.
Hank, any final words for the faithful? And
Fins
just
up,
have fun
everybody.
tonight.
Fins up.
Fins up, everybody.